Hey there, it's Mia Rene, and I want to welcome you back to another episode of the Faith in Business podcast. In today's business episode, we're going to be talking about the power of personal branding, why you need a personal brand, why it works, and really how you can turn any brand into a personal brand. I really want to encourage you with these business episodes to just keep things simple and help you understand that you're not alone on this journey as you're called into business. And I just want to be on this journey with you, kind of like a business bestie, just saying, hey, you got this. This is all part of the journey. You're not crazy. You're called to this. Keep going. That's really what I want to do with these business episodes. But that being said, today we're going to talk about personal branding. And the concept of personal branding, I think, just to keep it in very simple terms, is understanding that we all connect with people. We don't just connect with a concept or a name. We connect with people and we connect with stories. So really any brand, whether you want to create a brand that is your own name, or you want to create a brand name, you can still be the face of that brand. You can still share your personal story behind that brand. If you think about a generic brand that you're about to buy from, even down the cookie aisle, right? You could go buy a box of cookies, and if you turn that cookie box over, I'm thinking of some protein bars actually right now, that I know the story behind, right? Where if you actually turn that bar over or that cookie box over, whatever it is, and you read the story behind what that company is about, or how that even got started, or if there's a face to that brand, you feel so much more connected to it, right? Like someone could launch a basic energy drink or protein bar with just a generic name, or Tim Tebow could put his face or his name behind a protein bar or a energy drink, right? And it's going to have so much more connection for people because they know that face. They know what he stands for, right? They know what his mission is. And then you just automatically resonate and gravitate toward that protein bar, toward that energy drink. And that's not an industry that we're going to talk about so much today, right? Us building personal brands online. But if that concept applies even to a protein bar, how much more does it apply to coaching and launching your own courses and anything else that you want to bring, your own retreats, your own t-shirt line? You know, if you have a Christian-based t-shirt line and you have a message you want people wearing on these shirts, people want to connect with who's behind this brand. What's the mission behind the brand? What's the story behind the brand? Otherwise, it's just another generic shirt to them. There's no connection to it. So the more that we can bring in our own personal brand behind a brand, the more people are going to be able to connect with it. The more they're going to know, like, and trust that brand because there's a connection behind it. There's a story behind it. So when you set out to choose your brand name and your brand concept, I have a concept I take my entrepreneurs through when they coach with me or learn from me. And I'll share a link with you where you can get some more information on that in this episode. But I take people through a concept of choosing a brand name because it's going to be a personal brand either way, but it can have a brand name or it can be your name. Either way, you can be the face of it and really be authentically leading that brand. That's going to either make or break your brand. I can promise you that. So when you come online, if you're willing to show up and show your face and share your story, people are going to resonate with you. Now, I do want to clarify, with a personal brand, you're naturally going to be taking a stand. You're naturally going to be sharing about what matters to you, right? In the area, in the niche market that you're in, right? If you're coming online and you want to sell weight loss courses or weight loss coaching, if you're coming online and you want to sell financial services and help people get out of debt, whatever it is, when you emerge on the scene, you are going to be bringing your own personality, your own, the things that matter to you are all part of your brand. And like, I'll give you a good example. My brand, I've had a personal brand for many, many years as my name, right? My brand has always been my name. But when I found God and faith became important to me, I started to share that through my brand. Now, if I had started my brand as a person of faith, I would have integrated faith immediately into my brand and who I am. I wouldn't have hid that because it's so important to me. It's such a big piece of my life. But because it happened midway through my brand was already developed. I already had followers. I already had all that. I then had to have a shift in my brand and share the new direction I was going and share the impact of what had just happened for me. And the beautiful part about personal brands is it's an evolving brand. It's continually evolving and shifting. And if you put yourself out there, if you are willing to share your story, if you are willing to create content, whether it be podcasts, videos, reels, all the things, you are already creating a personal brand, right? Whether you realize it or not, you already are. You are that brand. I just saw someone online today that I've never heard about. He's basically essentially like a giant. He's 7'2", I believe. And he's on Instagram, but he wanted to break into the movie industry, but here he is. What he does have is his height, and it catches a lot of people's attention. But if you go to his Instagram, you realize he shares so much about himself and about his personality comes out all over that Instagram. And he has so much more to him than just being a 7'2", essentially giant. But you get to know his personality and you get to see all the doors that have been opening up for him because he's put himself out there, versus if he had just hid behind just the height or just, pictures and concepts. No, he brings his personality to it. And that's really what's opening up so many doors for him in the movie industry and different things that are happening. When we bring in our own personality, which is really what personal branding is, the right people are going to resonate with us. And it's so important to fully be yourself because you want the wrong people to go away and you want the right people to move forward. You want to repel the wrong people who don't like what you're about. They don't like your personality. They don't vibe with you. Those aren't your people. But if you're not being yourself and you're not putting yourself out there, you're not going to repel the wrong people and you're not going to strongly attract the right people. So it's really important to bring in the things that matter to you and be fully yourself, because I can promise you, your tribe is out there and they are going to be faithful, loyal followers and fans when you are truly yourself. And when you build a personal brand, I want to just really emphasize the number one biggest value of having a personal brand is that it opens up so many doors of opportunity for offers down the line, because you might have one offer right now. Let's say you have a t-shirt line or you have a coaching program or whatever it is. That doesn't mean that's the only thing you're ever going to offer, right? So if you have a personal brand and you bring in your own personality, you build know, like, and trust factor with your tribe, which means you open the door to endless offers down the line. If you write a book, you can share it with your personal brand audience, and they're going to want to buy your book because they know, like, and trust you. If you open up a retreat or a program, if you, if you need support on a movement or you're raising funds for a charity or whatever it is, you have endless opportunities when you have a personal brand because people actually connect with you. So that way you're not just locking yourself into one offer or one thing. You actually are so much bigger than one single offer. And you're not limiting yourself to the opportunities that are going to open up down the line. These are just some of the reasons why having a personal brand is so, so important. But I also think, God gave you a unique calling and a unique design, and you are going to shine a light and bring hope and encouragement to a particular group of people that nobody else can. The way that all the facts about you, everything from your personality to your age and your looks and your demographics and all the things, combined all of that together with your personality, your natural gifts, your calling, and all of that. There are people in this world who nobody else can impact like you can impact them. And no one else is going to reach them the way you are going to reach them. And actually putting yourself out there as a personal brand really starts that process of attracting those right people that you get to significantly impact. And whatever your current offers are, maybe that's all that you have right now, but down the line, you have more ways to help your audience and help your followers. And they're going to trust your recommendations, and they're going to trust the new things you come out with because you have a personal element, versus if it was just a generic brand, there just isn't that connection for the next thing, and where you're evolving and where you're going and where God's taking you, you don't know. So building a personal brand just keeps that door open to share the journey and to invite people into the journey with you, no matter what it is that you're going through. When you have a personal brand, you can invite people into the journey with you, and it will only build that much more trust. We just recently had an example of this online with Jessie Lee, who was known as the number one network marketer in the world. She actually lived just across the street from me here in Frisco, but she recently passed away, and she invited everyone on to her cancer journey when she was diagnosed with cancer. She completely and radically changed her life when she got the diagnosis, and went on a quest to beat the cancer, but she took everyone on the journey with her. And the amount of connection and deep trust that was built, and the amount of impact that she had on all of her followers, because she invited them into the journey. She didn't hide that piece of her journey. She invited them into it. And she had the whole world supporting her and locking arms with her on that cancer journey. And the whole world cried with her and with her loved ones when she passed away. And I that's like a very rare and dramatic example of personal branding, but it's also showing the power of a personal brand, that you can be so authentically yourself that you can invite people into the journey. You know, even if you were to put some kind of generic brand out there, you still can develop a personal brand behind it. So people know who's behind the XYZ brand. They know the mission behind it. Another great example out there would be the owner of Spanx. You know, Spanx is clothing that a lot of women buy and love their pants, but people also connect with the person behind it. I think she actually recently sold that company. But, you know, it really goes to show that, you know, there's a connect. And if you look at who follows her on Instagram and follows her as an entrepreneur, even after she sold Spanx, you know, there's a personal brand there that doesn't die off, even when she went and sold Spanx and is no longer the owner of Spanx. And now I'm drawing a blank on her name. I'm sure you know who it is. I'm going to type in founder of Spanx. That's going to drive me crazy that I forgot in the midway of my podcast. Sarah Blakely. Sarah Blakely created Spanx, but also created a personal brand in the process. Think about Apple, even Steve Jobs. When you think of Apple, you think of Steve Jobs. There's a person behind the brand that people connect with and resonate with. And, you know, he's passed away, but it's like, it didn't, that brand never existed from the start without some personality behind it. Right. And that's what had it take off and do and be what it is today. Right. So it's so important to understand that the personal brand is bigger than the product, the offer. Even if you go on to sell a company, you being the personal brand opens up so many doors for you with what's next. Sarah Blakely has the world following her. Even though she sold Spanx, she can go on and do something else, or she could go on and do mission work. She could invite the world into what she's doing. She could go on to, you know, like any one of you that's listening, if you were to then sell your company and then afterwards, let's just say you're financially set for life and you just want to go share the gospel with the world. Well, you have a personal brand in an avenue to be able to do that. So I could go on and on and on about why you need a personal brand, but this episode is not about how to have a personal brand, but it's about why you need a personal brand and why the world needs your personality. The world needs you to shine. And even with a brand name, even with, if you're creating Spanx, even if you're creating an energy drink or a protein bar, but chances are, if you're listening to this, you have courses and retreats and coaching programs, and all the more for us coaches, course creators, you know, and online influencers, all the more we need to have a personal brand. When I just gave you a bunch of examples of people who, you know, when you have a personal brand, you could launch almost any product or any company you want, and you're going to have that impact and that influence. Really, a personal brand is positioning yourself for significant influence for whatever God calls you to next. Mic drop on that. I think that sums it up. I won't keep going. I won't keep drilling this, but I will say this, that if you do not have a personal brand, if you do not know how to even get started on your personal brand, go to miarene.com/personal brand and start the process. Okay. miarene.com/personal brand. I can help you start to get off the ground with your personal brand. This needs to happen. You've been called for a time such as this. Do not hide. Do not shrink back. The world needs your personality and your message. And if you know that I'm talking to you right now, go to miarene.com/personal brand. And if you already are started on your personal brand, but maybe you've been hesitating and doubting, this is your message to go all in. Just go all in. You're never going to regret going all in with a personal brand, because you open up the doors to be able to share wherever this journey is going with you and God, wherever God is leading you, and it has you be in a position of influence. So that itself should sell you on keep going with your personal brand. And if you haven't started, or you don't know how to start, or you're overwhelmed by the whole concept, or you think it's going to take you so much time and energy when in reality, you can do it in a very organized way, go to miarene.com/personal brand and we'll get you started. Okay. So this is your business episode of the week. Thank you for tuning in on the power of personal branding. And I hope it encouraged you to let your light shine and let this world see your amazing personality, because you don't know what's up ahead and what God is going to be calling you to. And your tribe needs to know you exist and be able to follow you and be able to be influenced by you, because you have a beautiful message for the world. So miarene.com/personal brand. I look forward to connecting with you more, and I'll see you on the next episode. God bless. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to another episode, and I have so much more coming for you. I don't want you to miss future videos, so be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification button so you don't miss future videos. I also have a free gift for you right down below. Click that link and get your free gift. And then of course, if you want to build a business online, I can help you launch a podcast-based brand that positions you as a leader in your industry, gets you ranked on the largest search engines in the world, and streamlines your online content. I also help you put your offer together so you can start to generate income. The details on how to do this are over at helpmebuildonline.com. In fact, I have a 10-minute free training for you over there. So go to helpmebuildonline.com. Let's get your business built. You were called to do this for a time such as this. There's no mistake in it. It's time to be strong and courageous and get your message out to the world. Go to helpmebuildonline.com and I'll see you there.